Port of Jebel Ali, Dubai, United Arab Emirates. October 26, 2023. 6:43 a.m. The shipping container smells wrong. That's the first thing Customs Inspector Hamid Al-Rashid notices when he breaks the seal on container MSCU 4729186. Not the usual smell of machine oil and cardboard. Something else. Something organic. Something rotting. He pulls the door open wider. Morning light floods into the metal box. Inside, stacks of fabric bolts marked Luxury Textiles, Dubai Silk Traders LLC. Hamid steps inside, flashlight in hand. Standard inspection. He's done this 10,000 times. Just checking manifests, looking for contraband, making sure everything matches the paperwork. He moves toward the back of the container. The smell gets stronger. Sweet. Thick. The kind of smell that sticks to the inside of your nose. Hamid's stomach turns. He knows this smell. Every customs officer knows this smell. Death. He reaches the last stack of fabric bolts. Persian silk, according to the label. Expensive. The kind of textile that costs more per meter than Hamid makes in a month. But one bolt looks different. Heavier. The plastic wrapping is torn at the corner. Dark liquid has leaked through, staining the silk beneath. Hamid pulls back the plastic and screams. Inside the bolt of fabric, wrapped in layers of blood-soaked silk. A human torso. Female. No head. No arms. No legs. Just a torso. Cut cleanly at the waist, the shoulders, the neck. Professional. Surgical. Like someone who knew exactly what they were doing. The skin is pale gray. The chest cavity partially exposed. Ribs visible through deteriorating flesh. But it's what's still attached that makes Hamid's hands shake as he calls for backup. A tattoo. Small. Delicate. On what remains of the left shoulder. A hummingbird in flight. Welcome to True Crime Dossier. Thank you to our incredible and amazing viewers and subscribers for your continued support. What you're about to hear is a story about a woman who believed in love, a predator who weaponized that belief, and a crime so calculated it took 3 countries and 6 months to unravel. This is the true story of Jessica Marie Torres, a 28-year-old social worker from Hialeah, Florida, who spent her life saving others from dangerous men and never saw her own danger coming. A woman who boarded a plane to Dubai chasing a fairy tale and ended up in pieces in a shipping container bound for Pakistan. And the man behind it all? He wasn't a sheikh. He wasn't even Arab. But he was very, very good at pretending. This is the story of how a single lie destroyed everything. And how a hummingbird tattoo solved a murder that spanned 3 continents. Stay with us. Because what you're about to hear will change the way you think about online romance, international travel, and the men who smile while they plan your death. Miami, Florida, 6 months earlier. Jessica Marie Torres wakes up at 5:47 a.m. on April 15, 2023, to the sound of her phone vibrating across her nightstand. Not her alarm. A notification. Instagram DM. She should ignore it. Should get up, make coffee, get ready for another impossible day at the Department of Children and Families. But she's been awake for 20 minutes already, staring at the ceiling, dreading the moment she has to get out of bed and face another day of trying to save families she can't save. So she picks up the phone. The message is from an account she's never seen before at Sheikh _e. Forgive the intrusion, but I saw your profile and I had to reach out. Your work with children, it's remarkable. The world needs more people like you. I hope you don't mind me saying, but you have a beautiful soul. It shows in your smile. Jessica stares at the message for a long moment. She should delete it. Should block the account. Should know better. She literally counsels women about online predators for a living. But she doesn't delete it. Because it's been a very long time since anyone called her remarkable. She clicks on the profile. At Sheikh _e. 47,000 followers. Bio. Sheikh Rashid bin Abdullah Al Maktoum. Humanitarian. Investor. Building a better tomorrow. Dubai, United Arab Emirates, London, United Kingdom. The photos are immaculate. A man in traditional Emirati dress standing in front of the Burj Khalifa. The same man in a tailored suit at what looks like a charity gala. Private jets. Luxury hotels. Handshakes with politicians and businessmen Jessica doesn't recognize. But it's the caption on one photo that stops her. Tour to Children's Hospital in Sharjah today. Every child deserves a chance to thrive. Grateful to support organizations that make it possible. Hashtag humanitarian, hashtag child welfare. Jessica reads it twice. She looks at her own Instagram, photos of her DCF badge, a few selfies with her mother, pictures from a women's shelter where she volunteers on weekends. Her bio, social worker. Fighting for kids who can't fight for themselves. Miami palm tree. She thinks about the message. Your work with children, it's remarkable. He'd actually looked at her profile. Actually read her posts. Actually cared about the work she does. Jessica types a response. Deletes it. Types another one. Deletes that too. Finally, she settles on. Thank you. That's very kind. I appreciate what you do for children too. She hits send before she can overthink it. Puts her phone down. Gets out of bed. Doesn't think about it again until she's in her car on the way to work and her phone buzzes with another message. Kind is seeing a child in crisis and fighting for them when no one else will. Kind is working a job that pays too little and demands too much because you believe in something bigger than yourself. Don't diminish what you do, Jessica. You're changing lives. Jessica reads the message at a red light. Her chest tightens. Because when was the last time anyone at all, acknowledged what this job costs her? When was the last time someone saw her? She types back. You have no idea how much I needed to hear that today. The response comes seconds later. Then I'm glad I reached out. Tell me, what makes today particularly difficult? And just like that, Jessica Marie Torres, a woman who's spent her entire career teaching others to be careful online, to watch for manipulation, to recognize when someone's trying to exploit vulnerability, starts telling a stranger on Instagram about her day. The messages continue. For weeks. At first, they're sporadic. A good morning message. A question about her work. A photo of a sunset in Dubai with the caption, reminded me of you. There's warmth even in difficult places. Jessica tells herself it's harmless. Just friendly conversation. She's not some naive teenager. She's 28 years old. She has a master's degree. She knows how the world works. But the messages feel different. They feel safe. Rashid asks about her cases, not in a voyeuristic way, but with genuine understanding. When she tells him about a teenager who aged out of foster care with nowhere to go, he responds. The system fails when it matters most. That's why the work you do, the real connection, the advocacy, matters more than the system itself. You're the last line of defense for these children. That's not a small thing, Jessica. That's everything. When she mentions she's exhausted, he doesn't tell her to take a bubble bath or practice self-care. He says, exhaustion is the price of caring more than you should. But someone has to care that much, or the world becomes unbearable. I see that in you. I see someone who refuses to become numb. These aren't the messages of someone trying to get something from her. These are the messages of someone who understands her. Or so she thinks. What Rashid doesn't see, what Jessica carefully doesn't tell him, is how close she is to completely falling apart. By May 2023, Jessica is drowning. Her caseload has increased to 38 families. She's working 60-hour weeks. She hasn't had a full weekend off in 3 months. Her savings account is overdrawn. Her car needs repairs she can't afford. Her mother's diabetes medication costs $400 a month even with insurance. And every single day, she's making impossible decisions. Which child to prioritize when 3 need emergency intervention? Which family to visit when she only has time for 2? Which call to return first when her voicemail is full of people begging for help? She's failing. She knows she's failing. And it's killing her. May 18th, 2023. A Thursday. Jessica gets a call at 11:30 p.m. A foster placement has fallen through. A 6-year-old girl with autism, one of Jessica's cases, is having a meltdown at the emergency shelter. The on-call worker can't handle it. They need Jessica. Jessica drives to the shelter in her pajamas. Spends 3 hours calming the little girl down, getting her settled, promising her everything will be okay, even though Jessica has no idea if that's true. She gets home at 3 a.m., has to be at the office by 8 a.m. for a court hearing. She sits in her car in her apartment parking lot and cries. The kind of crying that's more than sadness. It's exhaustion, desperation, defeat. Her phone buzzes. A message from Rashid. Dubai is 8 hours ahead. It's late morning there. Good morning, beautiful soul. I hope today brings you small moments of peace. Jessica stares at the message through tears. Types back. I don't think I can do this anymore. The response comes immediately. Can I call you? Jessica hesitates. They've never talked on the phone. It feels like a line they shouldn't cross. But she's so tired. So alone. She types, yes. 30 seconds later, her phone rings. His voice is smooth. British accented. Warm without being overly familiar. Jessica, thank you for letting me call. I know we haven't spoken before, but I couldn't just send a text after reading your message. Are you all right? And Jessica, who never, ever talks about her own problems, who spent her entire life being the strong one, the helper, the person everyone leans on, breaks. She tells him everything. The impossible caseload. The lack of resources. The children she can't save. The family's falling apart. The guilt that eats at her every night. The feeling that no matter how hard she works, it's never enough. She talks for 40 minutes. And Rashid listens. Doesn't interrupt. Doesn't offer empty platitudes. Just listens. When she finally stops, voice hoarse from crying, he speaks. Jessica, what you're describing isn't failure. It's a system designed to break the people who care the most. You're not failing. You're being failed. There's a difference. The words hit her like a physical blow. Because no one, not her supervisor, not her therapist, not her mother, not her friends, has ever said that to her. Everyone tells her she's doing her best. That she needs to take care of herself. That she can't save everyone. But Rashid is the first person to say, this isn't your fault. You need rest, he continues. Real rest. Not a weekend. Not a few days off. You need time to remember who you are outside of this job. Because right now the work is consuming you. And when it's done consuming you, there won't be anything left for the children who need you. Jessica wipes her eyes. I can't just leave. I have cases. Responsibilities. And those cases will still be there when you return. But you won't, not in any meaningful way, if you don't stop now. Jessica, I've seen this before. People who give everything until there's nothing left. They don't recover. They just fade. There's a pause. When was the last time you took a real vacation? Jessica thinks. I don't remember. Then let me help you. What do you mean? Come to Dubai. Not forever. 2 weeks. Let me show you a different kind of life. Let me remind you that there's beauty in this world beyond the suffering you see every day. No strings. No expectations. Just space to breathe. Jessica's heart races. I can't. I don't have money for. I'm not asking you to pay for anything. I have more resources than I know what to do with. Let me use them to help someone who spends her life helping others. Please. The offer hangs in the air. Jessica knows she should say no. Every instinct, professional, personal, logical, tells her this is dangerous. But another part of her, the part that's been drowning for months, the part that's tired and scared and desperate, that part whispers, what if he's real? What if this is actually what it seems to be? I need to think about it, she says. Of course. Take all the time you need. But Jessica, promise me you'll at least consider the possibility that you deserve something good. That you deserve rest. That you deserve to be cared for the way you care for everyone else. Jessica closes her eyes. Okay, she whispers. I'll think about it. They talk for another hour. About nothing and everything. His work, vague but impressive sounding. Her childhood. His family, he mentions a younger sister he helped raise. Her mother. Dreams. Disappointments. The conversation flows like they've known each other for years. When they finally hang up, it's 5 a.m. Jessica has to be at work in 3 hours. But for the first time in months, she doesn't feel quite so alone. Over the next 6 weeks, Rashid becomes the most important person in Jessica's life. They talk every day. Long phone calls late at night after Jessica's shifts. Video calls where he shows her views of Dubai, the marina, the desert, the glittering skyline. He sends her gifts. Small at first, flowers delivered to her apartment with notes that say, "For someone who brings beauty into broken places." Then bigger. A designer handbag she'd never buy herself. A payment that clears her overdue credit card balance with a message. No one who saves children should be drowning in debt. Jessica protests. Says it's too much. But Rashid is insistent. Jessica, I have wealth I didn't earn. Inherited money that sits in accounts doing nothing. If I can't use it to ease the burden on someone who actually makes the world better, what's the point of having it? And Jessica, who's been struggling financially her entire life, who's watched her mother work herself to exhaustion just to survive, who's never had anyone offer to help without expecting something in return, starts to believe him. Maybe this is real. Maybe good things do happen to good people sometimes. Maybe she's finally being rewarded for all the years of sacrifice. Her friends notice the change. Her roommate, Maria Gonzalez, asks about the gifts showing up at their apartment. Who's sending you Gucci bags, Jess? Jessica blushes. Someone I met online. He lives in Dubai. Maria's face shifts. Concern. Jessica, you're a social worker. You know what this sounds like, right? It's not like that. He's legitimate. I've video called him. Seen his life. He's not some scammer. Have you reverse image searched his photos? Maria. Have you? Jessica hasn't. The thought feels like a betrayal. Like she doesn't trust him. But that night, alone in her room, she does it anyway. She takes one of Rashid's photos, the one in traditional Emirati dress in front of the Burj Khalifa, and uploads it to Google image search. No matches. She tries another. The one at the charity gala. No matches. She tries 5 more. Nothing. Relief floods through her. See? He's real. The photos are his. This isn't some romance scam. What Jessica doesn't know is that the photos are real, but they're not of Rashid. They're of a real Emirati businessman named Khalid bin Rashid Al Nahyan. Photos stolen from a private Instagram account that was hacked 2 years ago. And the man she's been talking to, the man with the British accent and the perfect words, isn't in Dubai at all. He's in a rented apartment in Newark, New Jersey. His real name is Marcus Webb. He's 34 years old. And 3 women before Jessica have taken trips to meet him. None of them came home. By early September, Rashid's invitation to Dubai has become a constant refrain. Come visit. Please. Let me show you what your life could be. Let me take care of you the way you take care of everyone else. Jessica's resistance is wearing down. Work is getting worse, not better. Her supervisor has started making comments about her lack of engagement. She's missed deadlines, forgotten court dates, snapped at colleagues. The job is killing her. And Rashid is the only light in the darkness. September 8th, 2023. Friday evening. Jessica is sitting in her apartment, staring at a glass of wine she poured an hour ago but hasn't touched. Her mother called earlier. Needs help with medical bills. Again, her student loans are coming out of forbearance. She owes $30,000. Her car needs $1,200 in repairs she doesn't have. She's 28 years old, and she has $347 in her checking account. Her phone buzzes. Rashid, I miss you. I know we haven't met in person yet, but I feel closer to you than anyone I've ever known. Is that strange? Jessica, no. I feel it too. Rashid, then come to me. Stop punishing yourself with this impossible life. Let me show you something different, even if just for 2 weeks. Please, Jessica. Let me take care of you. Jessica stares at the message for a long time, and then she makes a decision. Jessica, okay, I'll come. The response is immediate. Rashid, Truly? You'll come to Dubai? Jessica. Yes. Rashid. When? Jessica. I need to request time off. Give me a few weeks to arrange everything. Rashid. I'll book your flight. First class. Whatever dates work for you. Jessica. Thank you for trusting me. I promise you won't regret this. That night, Jessica can't sleep. Not from anxiety. From excitement. For the first time in years, she feels like something good is about to happen. She has no idea that in 6 weeks, dock workers in Dubai will find pieces of her body wrapped in blood-soaked silk. She has no idea that Rashid has already rented a villa in the desert, far from cameras and witnesses. She has no idea that the knife he'll use to dismember her is sitting in a drawer in that villa, wrapped in cloth, waiting. But tonight, Jessica Torres falls asleep smiling, dreaming of palm trees and luxury, and a man who promised to save her. September 15th. Jessica requests 2 weeks of vacation from DCF. Her supervisor is surprised. Jessica never takes time off, but approves it. You need this, Jess. You've been running on empty for months. September 20th. Rashid sends her the flight details. Emirates Flight 203. Miami to Dubai. October 3rd. First class ticket. $12,000. Paid in full. September 25th. Jessica tells her mother she's taking a trip. Carmen is worried. Who is this man, Mija? Why have I never met him? Jessica laughs. We met online, Mom. It's not like the old days. And he's helping me. He's good. Carmen doesn't look convinced. Please be careful. I'm always careful. October 1st. Jessica packs her suitcase. 3 sundresses. Swimsuit. Nice shoes. She's going to Dubai. She needs to look good. She stares at her reflection in the mirror. Her hummingbird tattoo, the one she got when she graduated with her master's degree, is visible on her left shoulder. A reminder of resilience, of survival. Hummingbirds can fly backwards. They can adapt. They can thrive in impossible conditions. That's what the tattoo artist told her. Jessica traces the bird with her finger. Here's to new beginnings, she whispers. October 3rd, 2023. 9:30 p.m. Jessica arrives at Miami International Airport. Carmen drives her. Hugs her too long in the departure zone. Call me when you land, okay? I will, Mom. I promise. I love you, Mija. I love you too. Jessica walks into the terminal. Carmen watches her daughter disappear into the crowd. It's the last time she'll see her alive. Newark, New Jersey, 3 months earlier. Marcus Tyrell Webb sits in his studio apartment on Edison Place, scrolling through Instagram profiles of women who work in social services. Teachers, nurses, social workers, nonprofit coordinators. He's looking for something specific. Someone who helps others. Someone who believes in goodness. Someone who's financially struggling. Someone who's isolated. Someone who's exhausted. Someone vulnerable. His fingers pause on a profile at Jessica Torres_SW. The photos tell him everything he needs to know. A woman in her late 20s holding a DCF badge. Tired eyes behind a genuine smile. Captions about child welfare and fighting for families. A pinned post about why she became a social worker. Full of idealism and pain and determination. Marcus clicks on her followers. 847 people. Mostly colleagues and family. No boyfriend. No partner mentioned anywhere. He checks her tagged photos. Birthday dinner with her mother. Volunteering at a women's shelter. Work events with coworkers. No romantic partner in any of them. Marcus reads through 6 months of posts. She works constantly. Posts about exhausting days and impossible cases, and the weight of trying to save everyone. Posts about her mother's medical bills and student loan debt, and the rising cost of everything. She's perfect. Marcus opens a notes app on his laptop. Creates a new file. Jessica Torres, target profile. He begins documenting everything he learns about her. Her job. Her struggles. Her values. Her fears. The exact words she uses when she talks about her work. He's been doing this for 4 years now. 3 successful hunts before this one. And he's gotten very, very good at it. Marcus Tyrell Webb was born on February 9, 1989, in Newark, New Jersey. His mother, Patricia Webb, was a nurse. Single mother. Worked night shifts at University Hospital while Marcus and his younger brother stayed with their grandmother. His father, never in the picture. Patricia wouldn't talk about him. Marcus learned early not to ask. He was a quiet child. Teachers described him as polite, well-behaved, a little too mature for his age. He didn't have many friends. Preferred books to playground games. Spent hours at the public library reading everything he could find, especially books about psychology, human behavior, manipulation tactics, con artists, and serial killers. By age 12, Marcus understood something fundamental about people. Everyone wants to be seen. Everyone wants to matter. And if you can make someone feel truly understood, you can make them do almost anything. He practiced on his mother first. Small manipulations. Lying about homework to get out of chores. Stealing money from her purse and blaming his brother. Fake crying to avoid punishment. Patricia never caught on. She was too tired, too overworked, too trusting. By high school, Marcus was running small cons selling fake IDs to classmates. Catfishing lonely women online for gift cards. Nothing serious. Just testing his skills. He was arrested once at 17, credit card fraud. Charges were dropped when he turned 18 and entered a diversion program. His record was sealed. But the experience taught him something important. Don't get caught doing the same thing twice. Evolve. Adapt. Always stay ahead of law enforcement patterns. After high school, Marcus drifted. Community college for a semester, dropped out. Various retail jobs, quit or fired. He moved into a studio apartment in Newark that cost $850 a month and started working as a freelance social media consultant. Which really meant he helped small businesses build fake online presences, buying followers, writing fake reviews, creating illusion of success. He was good at building illusions. In 2019, at age 30, Marcus discovered something that changed everything. International romance scams. Her name was Amanda Richardson, 32 years old, elementary school teacher from Portland, Oregon. Marcus found her on Instagram in June 2019. She was posting about teacher burnout and student loan debt and living paycheck to paycheck. He created a fake profile, a British entrepreneur living in Singapore. Wealthy, charming, interested in education reform. They talked for 3 months. He learned everything about her. Her dreams, her debts, her loneliness, the emotionally abusive ex-boyfriend she'd finally left. The desperate desire to be valued by someone who saw her as more than just a struggling teacher. In September 2019, Marcus invited her to visit him in Singapore. He paid for her ticket. Business class. Promised to show her a different kind of life. Amanda told her roommate she was going to meet the love of her life. She flew to Singapore on September 14, 2019. Marcus wasn't in Singapore. He was in Newark. But he'd arranged everything remotely. Booked a rental villa in a remote part of Batam, Indonesia, a short ferry ride from Singapore. Hired a local driver to pick Amanda up from the airport and take her to the villa. Told her he'd meet her there later that evening. Amanda arrived at the villa. Texted Marcus that she'd made it safely. Sent him photos of the beautiful view. Told him she couldn't wait to see him. Marcus never responded. Instead, he had an associate in Indonesia, a man he'd met through dark web forums, go to the villa that night. Amanda Richardson was killed on September 15, 2019. Strangled. Body dismembered. Parts scattered in different locations across Indonesia. Some weighted and dumped in the ocean. Some buried in remote jungle areas. Some burned. None of it was ever found. Amanda Richardson was reported missing by her roommate on September 18, 2019, when she didn't return from her trip and stopped responding to messages. Portland police investigated. Traced her flight to Singapore. Found she'd checked into a hotel there, the one Marcus had booked remotely, but never spent the night. Security footage showed her getting into a private car. The trail went cold. The case was eventually classified as a missing person, suspected foul play. But with no body, no crime scene, no physical evidence, there was nothing to investigate. Marcus Tyrell Webb was never questioned. Because as far as anyone could prove, he didn't exist. The social media profile that contacted Amanda? Deleted within 24 hours of her death. The rental villa in Batum? Booked under a fake name, paid for with cryptocurrency. The driver who picked her up? Never came forward. Probably didn't even know what he was part of. Marcus had orchestrated a murder from 9,000 miles away without ever leaving Newark. And he'd gotten away with it completely. Amanda Richardson was Marcus's proof of concept. He could lure a woman to a foreign country, have her killed, and face zero consequences. But there were flaws in his method. Using an associate meant risk. That person could talk, could get caught, could expose Marcus. For his next victim, Marcus decided to handle it himself. Her name was Claire Donovan, 29 years old, registered nurse from Boston, Massachusetts. Marcus found her in January 2020. She was posting about pandemic exhaustion and healthcare worker burnout and crushing student loan debt from nursing school. He created a new profile, a Dutch real estate developer living in Dubai. Wealthy, sophisticated, interested in healthcare reform. The pattern was the same. 3 months of conversation, building trust, learning her vulnerabilities, making her feel seen and valued and special. In April 2020, Marcus invited Claire to visit him in Dubai. This time, he actually went. He flew to Dubai a week before Claire arrived. Rented a villa in the desert, far from the city center. No neighbors. No witnesses. No security cameras anywhere near the property. He met Claire at the airport himself. Picked her up in a rented Range Rover. Drove her to the villa. She was excited, nervous, overwhelmed by the luxury. By him. By the fairy tale finally coming true. They had dinner on the villa's terrace. Claire talked about her dreams of traveling, of paying off debt, of finally having breathing room in her life. Marcus listened, smiled, poured her wine. Around midnight, when Claire was relaxed and trusting and completely unguarded, Marcus struck. He'd researched extensively. Knew exactly what he was doing. Quick. Clinical. Efficient. Claire Donovan died on April 23, 2020, in a desert villa outside Dubai. Marcus spent the next 48 hours dismembering her body. He'd brought tools from the US, surgical knives, saws, heavy plastic sheeting. He'd studied anatomy. Knew where to cut for maximum efficiency. He wrapped the pieces in plastic. Loaded them into the Range Rover. Drove deep into the desert in the middle of the night. Some parts he buried in the sand, far from any roads or settlements. Some parts he burned in a metal drum until there was nothing but ash. One piece, her torso, he kept. Because Marcus had realized something. He enjoyed this. Not just the killing. The control. The complete dominance over another human being. The godlike power of deciding who lives and who disappears. He wanted a souvenir. He wrapped Claire's torso in plastic and stored it in a large cooler. Drove back to the villa. Cleaned everything with industrial chemicals. Returned the Range Rover. Checked out of the villa. 2 days later, Marcus flew back to Newark with a checked bag containing clothes, toiletries, and one human torso packed in dry ice and wrapped in fabric labeled medical training equipment. Claire Donovan was reported missing by her sister on April 28, 2020. Boston police investigated. Traced her flight to Dubai. Found she'd messaged friends about meeting her boyfriend there. But the boyfriend's identity? A social media profile that no longer existed. Dubai authorities were contacted. They found the rental villa had been cleaned professionally. No evidence of anything suspicious. Claire Donovan became another missing person. And Marcus Webb became more confident. Between 2020 and 2023, Marcus refined his method. He changed identities for each target. Different nationalities. Different backstories. Different social media presences. But the core pattern remained the same. Find a woman working in a helping profession, teachers, nurses, social workers. Target someone financially struggling and emotionally exhausted, build a relationship over several months through social media and phone calls, invite her to visit him in Dubai, always Dubai. Because it's international, because Americans trust it as safe, because it's far enough from home that investigations are complicated. Lure her to an isolated location, kill her, dismember the body, dispose of evidence across multiple locations, return home before anyone realizes she's missing. Victim number 3 was Rachel Martinez, 27 years old, teacher from Phoenix, Arizona. Killed in Dubai, November 2021. Her body, or parts of it, were never found. Marcus kept her torso too. By 2023, Marcus Webb had murdered 3 women and faced 0 consequences. No one connected the disappearances. They happened in different years, different states, different circumstances. The only common thread, that each woman had traveled to Dubai to meet an online boyfriend, didn't raise red flags because millions of people meet romantic partners online every year. Most of those meetings don't end in murder. But all of Marcus's did. Marcus chose Dubai for specific, calculated reasons. First, it's a destination Americans trust. Unlike countries with reputations for danger, Dubai is marketed as safe, modern, luxurious. Women who wouldn't travel to certain countries felt comfortable going to Dubai. Second, it's international. Crimes involving American citizens in foreign countries create jurisdictional nightmares. Local police investigate, but if there's no body and no crime scene, there's nothing to investigate. U.S. authorities can't prosecute crimes that happened outside their borders. The cases fall into legal limbo. Third, Dubai has a transient population. Millions of tourists and business travelers every year. Someone arriving and never being seen again doesn't automatically raise suspicions. Maybe they went somewhere else. Maybe they changed their plans. Maybe they're just unreachable. Fourth, the desert. Vast, empty stretches of sand where bodies can be buried and never found. Marcus studied the geography extensively. Knew exactly where to go to ensure remains would never be discovered. Fifth, the wealth. Dubai is full of wealthy people. A man claiming to be a sheikh or investor or businessman doesn't stand out. Marcus could rent expensive villas, drive luxury cars, live the high life for 2 weeks at a time. And no one questioned it because Dubai is full of people doing exactly that. It was the perfect hunting ground. And by spring 2023, Marcus was ready for his next victim. When Marcus found Jessica Torres in April 2023, he knew immediately she was ideal. She hit every marker. Works in a helping profession, social worker. Financially struggling, student loan debt, mother's medical bills. Emotionally exhausted, burnout posts all over her Instagram. Isolated, no romantic partner, no close social circle visible online. Idealistic, believes in saving people, making the world better. Trusting, her entire job is built on believing people can change. Perfect victim profile. Marcus spent 2 weeks studying her before making contact. He read every post going back 2 years. Watched every Instagram story she'd saved. Looked at every photo. Analyzed her language patterns. Understood exactly what she needed to hear. Jessica needed to feel valued. Needed someone to acknowledge how hard she was working. Needed someone to tell her the system was failing her, not the other way around. Marcus could give her all of that. On April 15, 2023, he created his new profile at Sheikh_E. He used photos stolen from a real Emirati businessman's hacked Instagram. A man who'd never know his face was being used to lure women to their deaths. He crafted a bio that would appeal to someone like Jessica, humanitarian, investor, interested in child welfare. And then he sent his first message, the one about her beautiful soul and remarkable work. He knew she'd respond. They always did. Over the next 6 months, Marcus Webb became the center of Jessica Torres's world. He studied her responses to every message, adapting his approach in real time. When she mentioned exhaustion, he validated it. When she expressed guilt about not doing enough, He reframed it as the system's failure, not hers. When she worried about money, he sent gifts, carefully calibrated to be generous without being creepy. He learned her schedule, her triggers, her dreams, her fears. He became exactly what she needed. The phone calls were crucial. Marcus had practiced his British accent for years, watched hours of BBC programming, listened to podcasts, hired a voice coach online. He sounded completely authentic. The video calls were trickier, but Marcus was prepared. He'd hired a freelancer on Fiverr, a man of Middle Eastern descent living in Dubai, to appear on video calls on behalf of Sheikh Rashid when Rashid was in meetings. The freelancer didn't know what he was really participating in. Thought he was helping with some kind of social media project. For other video calls, Marcus used sophisticated deepfake technology, feeding the stolen photos of the real Emirati businessman into an AI program that could animate them in real time. The quality wasn't perfect, but it was good enough for a brief video call where Jessica was already primed to believe. Every detail was calculated. Every word was designed to build trust. And it worked. By September, Jessica was completely invested, emotionally dependent, ready to board a plane to meet a man she'd never actually met. Marcus bought her ticket on September 20th, $12,000 for first class. A small price to pay for what he'd get in return. Complete control over another human life. While Jessica counted down the days to her trip, Marcus prepared. He booked his flight to Dubai for September 28th, 5 days before Jessica would arrive. Gave himself time to set everything up. He rented the same villa he'd used for Rachel Martinez in 2021. Isolated property in the desert. 2 hours from Dubai city center. No neighbors within miles. No security cameras. No witnesses. He packed carefully. Surgical knives, purchased in the U.S., carried in checked luggage with hunting trip cover story. Heavy-duty plastic sheeting, industrial cleaning chemicals, plastic zip ties, a small hand-sew dry ice packs, fabric bolts. To wrap the body parts, a large cooler. Everything he'd need. He also packed normal tourist items, clothes, toiletries, camera. So if his luggage was inspected, it would look like an ordinary trip. On September 28, 2023, Marcus Webb flew Emirates Flight 231 from Newark to Dubai. He checked into a luxury hotel in the Marina District. Played the role of wealthy tourist for a few days. Visited restaurants, took photos, established his presence in the city. On October 1st, he picked up the rental Range Rover and drove to the desert villa. Spent 2 days preparing the space. Laying plastic sheeting in the bathroom. Setting up his tools. Creating the kill room. Everything had to be perfect. Because this time, Marcus had a new plan. He'd been keeping souvenirs, torsos of his previous victims, but disposal was becoming complicated. He couldn't keep traveling with body parts forever. This time, he was going to try something different. Shipping containers. Dubai's Port of Jebel Ali is one of the busiest in the world. Thousands of containers move through every day. Customs inspections are random and incomplete. Marcus had researched extensively. He'd found a shipping company, Dubai Silk Traders LLC, that exported textiles to Pakistan. The company was small, poorly managed, and corruption-friendly. For $5,000 in untraceable cryptocurrency, Marcus had arranged for a container to be marked luxury textiles and minimally inspected. He'd also arranged for fabric bolts to be delivered to the villa. Expensive Persian silk that would mask any smells during transport. His plan: kill Jessica, dismember her body, wrap parts in silk fabric, load them into the container, ship the container to Karachi, Pakistan. Once at sea, the evidence would be beyond any jurisdiction. By the time the container reached Pakistan, if anyone even noticed anything wrong, Jessica Torres would be just one more missing American tourist. Another unsolved case. Another ghost. Marcus stood in the villa on October 2nd, the night before Jessica's arrival, and surveyed his work. Everything was ready. The kill room was prepared. The tools were laid out. The shipping container was scheduled for pickup on October 27th. All he needed now was the victim. Jessica's flight lands at Dubai International Airport at 8:42 p.m. local time. She's exhausted from the 15-hour journey, but buzzing with excitement. This is it. The moment she's been waiting for. The fairy tale becoming real. She clears customs, collects her luggage, walks into the arrivals hall. And there he is. A man in traditional Emirati dress, white kandura, white gutra held in place with a black agal, stands holding a sign with her name. He's handsome, exactly like his photos. Warm smile, kind eyes. Jessica, he says, accent perfect. Welcome to Dubai. This isn't Marcus Webb. This is a hired actor. Marcus paid $2,000 to meet Jessica at the airport and drive her to the villa. The actor doesn't know what he's really part of. Thinks he's helping with an elaborate marriage proposal or something romantic. Marcus told him, "My girlfriend is arriving. I want to surprise her. Pick her up, drive her to this address, tell her I'm waiting there. Make it special." The actor plays his role perfectly. He takes Jessica's luggage, leads her to the waiting Range Rover, opens the door for her. As they drive through Dubai's glittering streets, Jessica stares out the window in wonder. The Burj Khalifa lit up against the night sky. The marina towers reflecting lights across the water. Everything is more beautiful than she imagined. The actor makes conversation, asks about her flight, points out landmarks. Jessica is too excited to notice the drive is getting longer, that they're leaving the city behind, that the buildings are giving way to emptiness. After 90 minutes, they turn onto an unmarked road. Drive another 20 minutes into complete darkness. Finally, a villa appears. Lit up. Beautiful. Isolated. "We're here," the actor says. He helps Jessica with her luggage. Walks her to the door. The door opens. And Marcus Webb, wearing traditional Emirati dress, face partially obscured by the gutra, playing the role of Sheikh Rashid, steps out to meet her. "Jessica," he says, voice warm and familiar. "You're finally here." Jessica's eyes fill with tears. She drops her bag and hugs him. For a moment, Marcus allows the embrace. Plays the part. Then he steps back. "Come inside. You must be exhausted." The actor drives away, $2,000 richer, and completely unaware he just delivered a woman to her death. Jessica steps into the villa. The door closes behind her. And the last night of her life begins. October 3rd, 2023. 10:30 p.m. Inside the villa, Marcus plays the perfect host. He shows Jessica around. The luxurious living room. The kitchen. The bedroom with its view of the desert. He pours her wine. Expensive. French. The kind of thing Jessica has never tasted before. They sit on the terrace overlooking the dark desert. Stars everywhere. No light pollution. Just silence and space and beauty. Jessica can't stop smiling. "This is incredible," she says. "I can't believe I'm actually here." "I'm glad you came," Marcus replies. "You deserve this. You deserve beauty and peace and someone who sees how extraordinary you are." Jessica's chest tightens. "I've never had anyone say things like that to me." "Then everyone in your life has failed you." They talk for hours. Jessica tells him about her work, her mother, her fears. Marcus listens, nods in all the right places, asks questions that make her feel understood. Around 1 a.m., Jessica starts to yawn. "I should sleep," she says. "I'm so tired." "Of course. Let me show you to your room." Marcus leads her to the bedroom. It's beautiful. Candles lit. Fresh flowers on the nightstand. "Sleep well," he says. "We have all day tomorrow to explore. I want to show you everything." Jessica smiles. "Thank you. For all of this. For seeing me. Thank you for trusting me." Marcus closes the door. And waits. October 4th, 2023. 3:17 a.m. Jessica is sleeping deeply. The wine was laced with a sedative. Not enough to kill, just enough to ensure she wouldn't wake up easily. Marcus enters the bedroom silently. He stands over her for a moment. Watching. Thinking about the others. Amanda. Claire. Rachel. Now Jessica. 4 women. 4 perfect murders. He feels nothing for her. Not hatred. Not pleasure. Not even curiosity. Just the cold satisfaction of a plan executed perfectly. Marcus moves quickly. He doesn't want her to suffer. There's no emotion behind this, no sadism. He's not a torturer. He's an eliminator. Quick. Clinical. Efficient. Jessica Torres dies without ever waking up. Marcus stands over her body, checking his watch. 3:24 a.m. 7 minutes. Faster than the others. He's getting better at this. October 4th to October 6th, 2023. Marcus spends the next 48 hours methodically dismembering Jessica's body in the villa's bathroom. He works with surgical precision. He's done this 3 times before. Knows exactly where to cut, how to separate joints, how to section the torso. He works in complete silence. No music. No distractions. Just the task. He wraps each piece in heavy plastic. Then wraps them again in the Persian silk fabric he'd arranged to have delivered. The irony isn't lost on him, wrapping a body in luxury fabric worth thousands of dollars. Some pieces he buries in the desert, drives out in the middle of the night, digs deep, covers them with sand. Some pieces he burns in a metal drum behind the villa, watches until there's nothing but ash. But Jessica's torso, like the others, he keeps. He wraps it carefully in layers of silk. Plastic. More silk. Seals it with industrial tape. On October 6th, a truck arrives to pick up the shipping container Marcus had arranged. The driver doesn't ask questions. Doesn't inspect the contents. Just loads the container marked luxury textiles and drives away. Inside the container, among bolts of expensive fabric, Jessica Torres's torso. The container is loaded onto a cargo ship bound for Karachi, Pakistan. Scheduled arrival, October 28th. October 7th, 2023. Marcus checks out of the villa. Cleans everything with industrial chemicals. Returns the Range Rover. Checks into his hotel in Dubai Marina. He plays tourist for 3 more days. Takes photos. Posts them to a temporary Instagram account. Creates alibis. On October 10th, Marcus flies back to Newark. Business class. Relaxed. Reading a book about behavioral psychology. By October 11th, he's back in his studio apartment like nothing happened. Meanwhile, in Miami, Carmen Torres is starting to worry. Jessica was supposed to call when she landed in Dubai. She didn't. Carmen has been texting. Calling. No response. On October 12th, Carmen files a missing person report with Miami-Dade police. The investigation begins. But it goes nowhere. Jessica's phone last pinged in Dubai. Her credit cards haven't been used. Her social media accounts are inactive. The Instagram account that belonged to Sheikh Rashid. Deleted. There's no trace of where Jessica went or who she was with. She simply vanished. And Marcus Webb sits in Newark, scrolling through Instagram, already looking for victim number 5. Port of Jebel Ali, Dubai, United Arab Emirates. October 26th, 2023. 6:43 a.m. We return to where this story began. Customs Inspector Hamid Al-Rashid standing inside shipping container MSCU 4729186, staring at a human torso wrapped in blood-soaked Persian silk. The hummingbird tattoo on the left shoulder is perfectly preserved. Within minutes, the port is swarming with Dubai police. Crime scene investigators. Port authority officials. Everyone trying to understand how a dismembered body ended up in a shipping container marked for textile export. The container's manifest shows it belongs to Dubai Silk Traders LLC, a small export company registered 2 months earlier. Registered owner. A shell company traced back to cryptocurrency payments from an untraceable wallet. Dead end. But the body, that's real evidence. Dubai police take the torso to the forensic lab. Full examination. DNA collection. Fingerprint analysis. The tattoo is photographed from every angle. Within 24 hours, they run the fingerprints through international databases. And they get a hit. Jessica Marie Torres. DOB. July 12, 1995. Last known location, Miami, Florida, USA. Status: missing person, reported October 12, 2023. The case suddenly expands from a local murder to an international incident. October 27, 2023. FBI agent Sarah Chin receives a call at her Miami field office. We have a match on your missing person. Jessica Torres. Dubai police found her remains in a shipping container at Port of Jebel Ali. Sarah's stomach drops. She'd been assigned Jessica's case 2 weeks ago. Another missing American abroad. Usually these cases involved accidents or voluntary disappearance. But she'd had a bad feeling about this one from the start. How much of her did they find? Just the torso. The rest is missing. Sarah closes her eyes. I need everything Dubai has. And I need to talk to the family. That afternoon, Sarah drives to Hialeah to meet Carmen Torres. Carmen is sitting in her living room surrounded by Jessica's childhood photos when Sarah arrives. She knows why the FBI is here. She's known since the moment Jessica stopped answering her phone. She's dead, isn't she? Carmen asks before Sarah even sits down. Sarah nods. I'm so sorry, Mrs. Torres. Jessica's remains were found in Dubai. We're working with local authorities to investigate what happened. Carmen doesn't cry. Not yet. She's cried too much already. Now she just needs answers. Who did this? We don't know yet. But we will find out. I promise you that. Sarah pulls out her laptop. I need to ask you about Jessica's trip to Dubai. Did she mention who she was meeting? Carmen nods. A man. She met him online. He said he was a Sheikh. Rashid something. I never met him. Never even saw a picture. Jessica said they'd been talking for months. Did Jessica show you any messages? Any proof this person existed? No. She was private about it. Said she didn't want me to worry. Sarah makes notes. Do you know what platform they met on? Instagram, I think. Sarah contacts Instagram immediately. Requests account data for Jessica Torres. Requests information about anyone who'd messaged her in the 6 months before her death. The response comes back within 48 hours. Account at Sheikh_E, deleted October 10th, 2023. No recovery possible. Account deletion was permanent. Another dead end. But Sarah keeps digging. November 2nd, 2023. Sarah Chun is reviewing Jessica's case file when something catches her eye. The method of disposal. The international location. The fake online identity. The victim profile. Young woman, helping profession, financially struggling, traveling to meet someone she'd only known online. It feels familiar. Sarah runs a search through FBI databases. Missing American women plus international travel plus online romance plus last seen Dubai. 3 results. Amanda Richardson, age 32, teacher, Portland, Oregon, missing September 2019, last known location. Singapore, traveling to meet online boyfriend never found. Claire Donovan, age 29, nurse, Boston, Massachusetts, missing April 2020, last known location. Dubai, traveling to meet online boyfriend never found. Rachel Martinez, age 27, teacher, Phoenix, Arizona, missing November 2021, last known location. Dubai, traveling to meet online boyfriend never found. Sarah's blood runs cold. 4 women. Same pattern. Same victimology. Same method. This isn't Jessica's killer's first time. This is a serial killer. And he's been operating internationally for 4 years without anyone connecting the cases. November 5th, 2023. FBI director issues orders. Form a task force. International serial killer investigation. Coordination with Interpol, Dubai police, and local agencies where victims disappeared. Agent Sarah Chun is lead investigator. The team works around the clock. They start by comparing the victims. All worked in helping professions, teachers, nurses, social workers. All were financially struggling, student loans, medical debt, low income. All met their boyfriend on social media, Instagram, Facebook. All traveled internationally to meet him, Singapore, Dubai. All disappeared within 24 to 48 hours of arrival. None of their bodies were ever found until Jessica. The pattern is unmistakable. But who's behind it? November 12, 2023. A forensic accountant on Sarah's team makes a discovery. Jessica Torres received several monetary gifts in the months before her death. Bank records show $1,200 deposit, June 15, 2023 source. PayPal transfer from account registered to R. Maktoum Holdings $3, 400 deposit, July 20th, 2023 source. Wire transfer from Cayman Islands account $12,000 airline ticket purchase. September 20th, 2023 source. Credit card registered to Dubai Investment Group LLC. The forensic accountant traces the money backward. The PayPal account was funded by a U.S. bank account registered to an address in Newark, New Jersey. The wire transfer originated from a bank in the Cayman Islands, but was initiated from an IP address in Newark, New Jersey. The credit card that purchased the airline ticket was registered to a P.O. box in Newark, New Jersey. Sarah Chen gets a warrant. She pulls phone records, internet service provider data, and financial records for every male resident aged 25 to 45 in the Newark area with international travel to Dubai in the past 4 years, history of PayPal or cryptocurrency transactions, no stable employment or visible source of income. 47 names come back. Sarah and her team start investigating each one. On November 18th, they find him. Marcus Tyrell Webb. Age 34. Address: 412 Edison Place, Apartment 3B, Newark, New Jersey. Employment: self-employed social media consultant. Travel history: Singapore, September 2019 Dubai, April 2020 Dubai, November 2021 Dubai, September-October 2023. Financial red flags: large cryptocurrency transactions corresponding with victim disappearances PayPal account matching the one that sent money to Jessica Torres, multiple fake business LLCs registered to P.O. boxes. Sarah Chen looks at Marcus Webb's photo from his New Jersey driver's license. Ordinary face. Nothing remarkable. The kind of face you'd pass on the street and never remember. The face of a man who murdered at least 4 women and almost got away with it. We have him, Sarah says. November 20th, 2023. 5:47 a.m. FBI SWAT team surrounds the apartment building on Edison Place. They breach the door of apartment 3B. Marcus Webb is asleep in his bed. He wakes up to 6 agents pointing rifles at his head. Marcus Webb, FBI. Don't move. Marcus doesn't fight. Doesn't run. Just puts his hands up slowly. I know why you're here, he says calmly. They search the apartment. What they find makes seasoned agents physically ill. 3 external hard drives containing thousands of messages between Marcus and his victims, detailed files on each woman. Their schedules, their fears, their vulnerabilities, photos of the victims taken without their knowledge, a journal describing each kill in clinical detail, airline receipts, rental car agreements, villa bookings. All corresponding to the murders, and in a locked freezer in the bedroom closet. 3 additional human torsos frozen, wrapped in plastic. Amanda Richardson, Claire Donovan, Rachel Martinez. Marcus kept trophies from every kill. November 21st, 2023. Marcus Webb sits across from Agent Sarah Chen in an FBI interrogation room. He waives his right to an attorney. He wants to talk. I'll tell you everything, Marcus says. I'm not stupid. You have the evidence. The bodies. The records. I know how this ends. Why? Sarah asks. Why did you do this? Marcus thinks for a moment. Because I could. Because it was easy. Because people are predictable when they're desperate. You targeted vulnerable women. I targeted women who wanted to be saved. Who believed in fairy tales. Who thought a stranger online could fix their broken lives. Marcus leans back. I gave them what they wanted. Hope. Attention. The promise of something better. And they gave me what I wanted. Control. Power, Marcus corrects. Absolute power over another human life. To decide when they're useful and when they're not. To make someone trust you completely, and then he snaps his fingers. Remove them from existence. Sarah stares at him. You feel no remorse. Remorse requires empathy. I don't have that. Marcus smiles slightly. But I'm curious, how did you find me? What mistake did I make? You got greedy, Sarah says. You kept a souvenir from Jessica Torres. And when that shipping container got inspected, everything unraveled. If you disposed of her body like the others, we might never have connected the cases. Marcus nods slowly. Interesting. So my need for completion was my downfall. That and the hummingbird tattoo. It was beautiful. It was unique. And it led us right to you. Marcus looks genuinely surprised. A tattoo. All of this, undone by a tattoo. Jessica Torres got that tattoo when she graduated with her master's degree, Sarah continues. It represented resilience, survival, the ability to adapt and thrive in impossible conditions. Marcus absorbs this. Ironic. No, Sarah says. Poetic. Because even in death, Jessica helped us stop you. She saved every woman you would have killed next. For the first time, Marcus's expression shifts. Not to remorse, but to something like respect. She was stronger than I gave her credit for. They all were, Sarah replies. Every single woman you murdered was stronger than you. They just had the misfortune of believing you were worth their trust. Marcus Tyrell Webb is charged with 4 counts of first-degree murder, 4 counts of kidnapping, international human trafficking, conspiracy to commit murder, improper disposal of human remains. He pleads guilty to all charges. No trial. No drawn-out court proceedings. Marcus sees no point in fighting. On March 15, 2024, Marcus Tyrell Webb is sentenced to 4 consecutive life sentences without possibility of parole. He will die in federal prison. At the sentencing hearing, Carmen Torres stands to give a victim impact statement. My daughter spent her life trying to save people, Carmen says, voice shaking. She believed in goodness. She believed people could change. She believed in second chances. She looks directly at Marcus. You took advantage of the best parts of her. Her compassion. Her hope. Her desire to see the good in people. You weaponized her kindness and used it to destroy her. Carmen's voice breaks. Jessica saved so many children. So many families. She gave everything to help people who were suffering. And you murdered her for sport. Marcus says nothing. Doesn't react. Doesn't apologize. Carmen wipes her eyes. I hope you spend every day of the rest of your life knowing that you took someone irreplaceable from this world. And I hope you die alone, forgotten, and unmourned. Because that's what you deserve. The judge bangs the gavel. Marcus Webb is led away in chains. He never looks back. The families of Amanda Richardson, Claire Donovan, and Rachel Martinez finally have closure. Their daughter's remains, the torsos Marcus kept frozen, are returned to them. Proper funerals are held. Proper burials. Proper goodbyes. Jessica Torres is laid to rest at Woodlawn Park Cemetery in Miami on April 3, 2024. Hundreds attend. Colleagues from DCF. Families she helped. Children she saved. Her service is standing room only. Carmen Torres places a hummingbird charm on Jessica's casket. Fly free, Mija, she whispers. Carmen Torres starts a foundation in Jessica's name, the Hummingbird Project. Its mission: educate young women about online safety. Provide resources for recognizing manipulation tactics. Offer support for those escaping dangerous relationships. The foundation's logo is a hummingbird in flight. Because even in death, Jessica Torres is still saving people. Agent Sarah Chin continues investigating international romance scams and predators targeting vulnerable women online. She's identified 14 other potential cases matching Marcus Webb's pattern. Cases where women disappeared after traveling to meet online boyfriends. The investigation continues. Marcus Webb sits in federal prison in Florence, Colorado. He receives letters from true crime enthusiasts, marriage proposals from disturbed women, interview requests from documentarians. He ignores all of them. He spends his days reading psychology textbooks and writing in journals that no one will ever see. He feels nothing about what he's done. No guilt. No remorse. No regret. Just the quiet satisfaction of having succeeded 4 times before getting caught. And the knowledge that if not for a random customs inspection in Dubai, he'd still be free. Still hunting. Still killing. Here's what we know about evil. It doesn't always look like a monster. Sometimes it looks like a charming stranger who says all the right words. Sometimes it looks like an online profile full of luxury and promises. Sometimes it looks like someone who truly understands your pain. Jessica Torres was not naive. She was not stupid. She was not reckless. She was a trained social worker who understood manipulation, who counseled women about dangerous relationships, who knew the warning signs. But Marcus Webb was better at pretending than Jessica was at detecting. Because that's what predators do. They evolve. They adapt. They study their prey and become exactly what their prey needs. And sometimes, no matter how careful you are, no matter how educated you are, no matter how strong you are, the predator wins. But here's what else we know. Jessica Torres died believing in something beautiful. Believing in love. Believing that good things happen to good people. And even though she was wrong about Marcus Webb, she wasn't wrong about the world. Because her death led to 4 families getting closure. Her death led to a serial killer behind bars. Her death led to a foundation that will save countless other women from the same fate. Jessica Torres spent her life saving people. And in death, she's still saving them. That hummingbird tattoo, the symbol of resilience and survival, survived when everything else was destroyed. It led investigators to Marcus Webb. It solved a murder that spanned 3 continents. It brought justice when everyone thought justice was impossible. Jessica Torres may not have survived, but her legacy, her fight, her strength, her refusal to be forgotten, that survived. And that matters. So here's what I want to know. If you were in Jessica's position, exhausted, struggling, desperate for someone to see you, could you say with absolute certainty that you wouldn't have made the same choice? Could you say you'd recognize the warning signs when the predator is this good at hiding them? Could you say you'd walk away from the promise of something better when your current life feels unbearable? We want to believe we'd be smarter, stronger, more careful. But Jessica Torres was smart. She was strong. She was careful. And she still died. Because sometimes the danger isn't in our choices. It's in the people who know exactly how to exploit them. So before you judge Jessica for getting on that plane, ask yourself, who in your life right now do you trust completely? Who have you let into your world based on words and promises and the feeling that they truly understand you? How well do you really know them? And how certain are you that they're not wearing a mask? Because Marcus Webb wore his mask for 34 years. And 4 women died never knowing who was really standing in front of them. Share this story if it made you think. Comment below with your thoughts. And most importantly, stay safe. Stay aware. And trust your instincts, even when your heart is telling you to believe. The hummingbird flies on. And so does Jessica's fight.